They wrote me off, I ain't write them back. Follow me, but don't double tap. I ain't liking that. You subscribe, I monetize. Now who's striking that? Wanna see the contract? Who got the rights to that? This my story. I spent my whole life on that. Times up. Shador Sanders with the rollie and the armor. I could do this shit with my eyes closed. The main attraction don't come at me with no side show. I'm selling high, they wanna buy low.
Good morning, family. How we feeling? How we doing, man? I'm here, man. I got two of my guys, man. They joined me this morning, man, for the cook up. We in the kitchen. We about to cook up for y'all, man. I got Rock over here. Rock, how we feeling today, baby? How we feeling, man?
Oh, man, feeling great. I think it's going to be a good day, Fizz. How are you doing?
Ain't no point in thinking, my brother. It's going to be a good day today, man. So, we got Rock in the building. My boy, Dynasty F Key. How we feeling, Keys? How we feeling, bro?
What's going on? Doing good, man. 2025 is here. Hey, feeling great, man.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a new year, man. I had you on, I think, 1 or 2 shows last year. So never in the morning, though. We got you in the morning this time. We said, man, you got to wake up early and get it popping with us. So I'm glad you're here this morning. 2025 is here, man. You know, it's actually halfway here, right? It feels like it's about to be February in no time. So we better enjoy it while we got it. Time ain't waiting for us. We had some playoff games over the weekend. Man, surprises, no surprises, blowouts, shutouts. I thought it was going to be a lot better as far as the I was going to say the content. I meant to say the gameplay, right? Like the Broncos kind of,
yeah.
It went up and down, man. But today we're going to bring it all to the people, man. We're going, give them what they need, serve them up, man. And before we get too far, man, let's holler at the people, man. We got a good old chat going on. Let me see. Hold on. What we got popping, man? My boy Jake is in the building. Jake, what's popping, baby? Shout out my boy Jake, man. You down there in Carolina with them Panthers, man. So, I'm a Bryce Young fan, man. So shout out my boy, always tapping in with us, man. Gooner boy in the building. Let's go. Yeah, man. Hey, Okay. He rocking with them Commanders. All right, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. We got the Ravens flock in the building. Shout out my boy E, man.
Yeah, it's y'all time now. Playoff
games. Yeah, we gonna talk about them Ravens, baby. Super Bowl champs on the way, baby. But yeah, man, we got my boy Allen in the building, man. The Ridge runner was good, bro. And good old Rob Gronkowski, man. Always jumping in with us. What's up, Rob? Glad you could find your way off the Fox network and come kick it with us, brother. So, he said, let me see. You see, back to work with the Panthers. Okay, all right, brother. I ain't mad at you, man. You know how we gonna get down, Jake. We gonna rap to you soon, my boy. But yeah, man, we here, man. Good morning. Like I said, man, I got 2 of my guys here, man. They joining me, and fellas, overall, man. Before we get too far in the show, before we dig into things, which Keys, you the guest. I'm gonna let you go first. Give me your biggest news break, your biggest game-related situation of the weekend that really kind of got you going this morning, man. What's your favorite topic over the weekend that hit you the hardest this morning?
Man, for me, man, it's definitely with the teams, like the playoffs. We've been wanting to see who's going to take over, but I gotta say it's the Commanders, man. Like, you got a rookie quarterback who actually snapped the rookie quarterback playoff streak, where I think it's like 0-7, or it's a long streak of rookies that don't do anything in the playoffs. And when you got to worry about a sophomore slump potentially next season, why not get it now? Like, go out there and win something right now. And you got a weapon where even a young Lamar Jackson, like, you would have loved it if he could have pulled some stuff off early, because it was just such a threat on the ground and people ain't got him figured out yet. So I think Jaden Daniels has a unique opportunity to just get in there, make some noise. He upset a team that just puts up a ton of points. So maybe the defense isn't as bad as I thought it was. So if they can, you got to go up against the Lions. I know we'll talk about it, but if you can get lucky, man, I say why not?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I agree with the Jaden Daniels thing, man. He's a phenomenon. He's taking over, and I believe the last time a rookie won was, I believe, Russell Wilson. I want to say that was 2012 or 13, something like that, somewhere around that range.
Yeah.
So, it's been a while, but I believe Russ was the last time. But yeah, Rob, what was your biggest news, your biggest take from this weekend, and what got what got you flowing this morning, bro?
I think the number one thing that I noticed over the weekend is that defenses continue to win championships. All these
Mm,
blowout losses, it wasn't just on the offense. It was these defenses that were shutting down these teams. So I
yeah.
think that's definitely one of the major things. And also, too, the Bills and the Ravens both came out dominant, which
Oh
is
yeah.
going to set up an MVP showdown. So I'm
Yeah.
super stoked for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Jaden
man.
Daniels, man, he looked clutch. That was the main thing that we talked about on Tuesday with him. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, J Day always been my guy, man. I believed in him, but this Lamar and Josh Allen thing is, I think that's what the people waiting for, man. This is what the playoffs are for, man. I know,
Yeah.
the Chiefs are the current Super Bowl champs over the last couple of years, and we don't really, I guess, look forward to seeing them play the Texans as much as this matchup because Josh Allen and Lamar, man, the MVP battle. Ravens beat them before, but I still don't think that the Bills were who they are now, and I don't even think the Ravens were who they were when they played them. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, I think they're both no injuries. They're healthy. Everybody's coming in with the right mind frame. So there's no excuses in this game. As fans, we could say so and so was hurt or whatever. There's none of that. When they play this week, nobody got an excuse, bro. You either gonna win or you're gonna lose, man. So, and even the weather, it's cold in Buffalo, it's cold in Baltimore. So, like I said, it's no excuses, man. So I'm waiting to look forward to that game. My boy Mr. Void, he's in the building. What's good, bro? Um, I'm
Yeah.
gonna just
And
go,
I was
go
gonna
ahead,
say,
Keith.
man, T-Rock, you're right though. Like I'm looking at the defenses. It's basically all the top defenses. They're in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Ravens, Vikings. I mean, like don't worry about who's eliminated, but Ravens, Vikings, Broncos, Bucks, Lions, Steelers, Packers, Chiefs. Then it's Dolphins, then Eagles, then Texans and Bills. Those are all in order of the top defenses, and they're all in the
Mm,
playoffs. So
good
Yeah.
pull, Keith. Yeah, like I said, man, it was one of them. As you could tell, right? It was defense being played on one side of the ball for most of those games. So, I think my biggest take overall was sports wise anyway was I mean, everything, man. I say this, right? I don't want to say everything because I'm cheating, right? Y'all at least gave me something. So I will say that the Vikings losing was something I did not see. I was actually rooting for both. I said, man, honestly, whichever one of them win, I'm happy with because I think Sean McVay can out coach anyone, but I believe Kevin O'Connell can too. So I really put it in perspective as the better roster to me was the Vikings because the Rams just look kind of old, man. The last 3 games, bro, they just look like they weren't really, up to par as where we thought they could be. But man, that youth on that defensive side last night, they said, listen, we don't need the old guys on offense to do
yeah,
nothing.
talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? We don't need the old guys to do nothing. We about to smash Sam Darnold. The ghosts are out tonight. So Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts. Kevin O'Connell couldn't cook it up, man. I don't know. But I think this was student versus teacher. And McVay was the teacher. O'Connell was the student. So that was probably my biggest take of the weekend. And that happened last night. So it was kind of like a refresher of what just happened. But overall, man, good weekend for football. Before we get too deep into the show, though, I do want to send the prayers out to LA, man, with the wildfires, everything that's going on. It's just looking crazy, man. I don't think I've seen nothing like that. As an adult, anyway. Just looking at a whole city just wiped out with fires, man. So hopefully, we bounce back as a country and get things in order out there in LA. I'm not sure if y'all have any family members or any friends that lived out there, had to deal with that. But anybody in the chat that's watching, man, prayers out to you, man. If you had to go through that or have a family member out in LA dealing with those fires, bro. So moving on to football, though, honestly, man, I know it was tough for the Rams, right, to leave their city, go to another stadium and play because of the fire. So for them to win like they did last night, I'm sure that wasn't an easy task, but
Yeah, it was crazy. That was at the State Farm stadium, and they were getting heat because they weren't giving people their insurance. So kind of
Mm.
ironic that
Yeah.
they were forced to play at that stadium. But
Yeah.
man, shout out
That's
to everybody over there. I got some family in northern Cali, so not in that same area, like in Oakland, but
okay.
yeah, man. Hey, there's some GoFundMe's out there. Whatever you can do, send some prayers, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody doing all right.
Yeah, for sure, man. Shout out to them, man. Hopefully they get everything back in order on the west side of town, baby. So I guess, man, look, we could have started off, bro, and talk about what's going on with the media and the news. A lot of stuff breaking, a lot of stuff, we checking our phones every 5 minutes. We get a sleeper alert or a Twitter alert or X alert. So I'm gonna go to some of the biggest news currently that I guess we didn't speak on yet. And that's Deshaun Watson, man. Deshaun Watson. The Deshaun Watson news to me was big because, one, he has a guaranteed contract. We all know that. So he wasn't going anywhere, no matter what people tried to tell you. I will make you sit on my bench for the next 3 years before I cut you if you're guaranteed to, get paid. So Deshaun Watson, most likely not playing in 2025 with another ruptured Achilles, so they believe. And them having the number 2 overall pick, man, what do you do? Like, what do you, as a team, as a coaching staff, as maybe guys that might feel like their job could be on the line if they don't get this in order, but also as a franchise that you miss on so many quarterbacks, man, so many. It's like you have to get this one right. If you're locked on taking a quarterback, you have to get this one right. You have to, right? So I've been hearing news about Kirk Cousins. If he leave the Falcons, he could be a guy. Me personally, I give my take early. I think they shouldn't draft a rookie quarterback in this class. We all talk about how the class isn't the best. It needs work. If I'm the Browns, the Oakland Raiders, right? We keep hearing this Shador narrative. What y'all want to pay to move up, man? Because we need to build. We need to really fix this team. We can sign maybe a Sam Darnold. Maybe they get Sam. His stock might have dropped after last night. Maybe they get him. Geno Smith don't have a contract. Justin Fields don't have a contract, right? It's guys out there, man, that you can put in place for 1 year or 2 years maybe to just get your guy next year, right? Arch Manning coming out one time. It's other guys out there, what I'm trying to say. So me personally, if I'm the Browns, I'm not taking a quarterback. I'm checking all options. My number one option would be to try to trade back with a team that want to give up their future and help build ours. Or 2, you take the number 1 talent in the draft, which is Travis Hunter, and then you figure out what else is going on. You got Denzel Ward with a concussion every single week. Travis Hunter wouldn't be a bad play on both sides of the field either. So, Keys, man, with you being the guest, man, joining us, give us your take on Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns, and what do you think they should do with this number 2 pick overall in free agency?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of talent in this class, and you're right. They keep messing up this pick at quarterback. It's dangerous for them to take one and it don't work out. Lewis Sanders, they, won a big market team. You got to go where you're drafted, but I don't know. I just don't see it being a fit. But I also don't see Sanders going 1. Like Ward might be the number 1 QB. So if Ward's already gone, I don't know, man. I would consider just going with some of these other high talented players like a Travis Hunter. Get something. Get one of those free agent quarterbacks because, it's just, you went and swung and missed on Deshaun Watson for a reason. They want to win right now. You got Myles Garrett, who's awesome. He's wasting all his prime years over there. Like, don't waste this guy's time with some rookie trying to figure it out. You're not going to get it right. Like, Sam Darnold's price went down. I'm down with that because you just need to get through the regular season and have the defense carry him in certain moments. So if he can just have another, repeat of what he had, another hot little stretch, he can do that for the Browns. They got weapons. Judy and all those guys are kind of balling. I know it's because of the volume from Winston, but man, don't draft a quarterback. I think it's easy. Just pass and get you something nasty. There's just so many nasty players here on defense. You can just help out Myles Garrett and make that your strength and just keep it moving.
I'm with you, Rob. What you think? What you think about the Browns right now, bro?
So this injury is honestly like best case scenario for the Browns because a lot of people don't talk about the insurance that they took on in a contract. I think some people don't even know that you can take out insurance on big contracts like this one.
Mhm.
The Browns now have $44.3 million cleared up in their cap space just because of this injury. So they have all that money to play with now with Watson being injured. They need so much help on their team. Their offensive line was decimated the entire season. They fired their offensive line coach because of the poor play from even despite all those injuries. But they're one of the oldest teams in the NFL. They're almost on average 28 years old across their whole group, and their defense is old as well. So they need a lot of help. I think that the Browns are not going to be able to help themselves and want to draft a quarterback at 2. It's just Browns are just going to continue to do Browns things. But this whole team needs a lot of help. They have some stars, on both sides of the ball, but they need a lot of help, especially on the offensive line that can't stay healthy. So I hope that they trade back and get some more picks and start to rebuild this team. If it was me, if I was freaking Haslam, I would bring back both Joe Flacco and what's his face that played for them this season. That was their only hope, Winston. So, yeah, I'd just have them go at it together. That would be the only thing that would bring Browns fans some joy in this life.
I'm with you, Rod. But I also feel like at the end of the day, bro, like you just brought up, the team is getting older. And then think about a division. Pittsburgh is winning 10 games with nothing at quarterback every single year. They go through this corral of different guys, but they still win games, right? You got the Bengals, who maybe should have made the playoffs, one of the hottest teams towards the end of the season. And then you got the Baltimore Ravens. I don't care what the Cleveland Browns put in at quarterback. They're still not going to compete in this division next year. Let's just be real, right? So why take a young guy when you can build around him? So when you get your guy later, at some point, now we can compete. But right now, bro, I don't think it's anyone in this draft that's going to automatically give them a 7-win, 6-win season. I don't see it, man. I think
they split with the Steelers and the Ravens. We got to remember that too.
So
they always got some fight.
Oh yeah, they're gonna fight. But remember, their O-line was the best in the league at the time. Nick Chubb was 100% healthy at the time. They had a lot of upside when they went in the playoffs last year. This year, that is the hope went away, man. Like the rabbit fell out of the pocket, and it was what it was. Hopefully, though, I think they should either trade back, or if you have to take that pick, man. If you have to take that pick, you take Travis Hunter, man.
That's what I was about to jump in and say. Trade back, because if you're trying to get O-line, I don't know if you take it at 2, man, but somebody wants a quarterback. So they still kind of have a shot to cash in on that pick too and just get a bunch of picks.
Call the Raiders right now, baby. Hey, y'all want Shador so bad? Come get him. Come on.
All right, we just figured out the first trade of the draft. Let's go.
There we go.
Yeah, I think Travis Hunter would be great, but this is not a studded offensive line class like we did last year. Do not be surprised if some of the best offensive line all go in the top 5 picks, and there's not much after that.
Okay.
Yeah, I scouted Kelvin Banks Jr. already. Like, yeah, it's just you're not going to get a good one in the second round. So if you want one, you got to take him.
Yep.
Is this it for Watson? That's the last thing I'm wondering.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, baby. We're going to move on, and we're going to go to a guy that's already signed, already got his name on the dotted line, and it's Mike Vrabel, man. Mike Vrabel, the new Patriots head coach, coming from Tennessee as a coach, and I think he was just with the Cleveland Browns, right? As I guess like a team. I'm going to say team manager, but almost like overseeing the team, and that was his current role. So, Mike Vrabel joining the Patriots. I'm thinking, me personally, I'm not saying I hate defensive head coaches, but I think when you got a guy like a Drake May, Mike Vrabel to me isn't even the answer to this franchise. It's who's going to be the OC, who's going to be the QB coach, who's going to get the guy that they just took in this top round last year to be at his best. And whatever the team does is the team's success. But we need Drake May's success if we're taking the guy where they took him. So my biggest thing about this team is not that Mike Vrabel isn't a great coach. I think he's going to bring presence and structure to that locker room. But ultimately, I want to see who's going to be calling these plays on offense for Drake May and putting him in position with a receiving core that's lacking. Pop Douglas is the number one guy. Like we need a guy that can make Pop Douglas look like Jamar Chase in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want. That's what I want to see. And that's my biggest thing with this hire is more so who is he going to get to call the offense under him. So, Rock, I saw you searching some stuff over there, man.
Yeah.
What you got on the Patriots, bro?
So there's some reports saying that he's trying to steal Tom Rees, who's the offensive coordinator, or at least offensive passing game coordinator for the Browns, which is where he was at recently. So
yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, he just left the Browns. Yeah, so that makes sense. I mean, we didn't see much production on that offense, but maybe he got a good relationship with him. You know what I'm saying? So
when Winston was in, they looked pretty fun.
For sure. But yeah, I what we got, Keith? What you thinking about this hire, brother?
Yeah, get back to the roots of defense. That's what won a lot of those Patriots team of old some games because the weapons weren't there. Remember, you talking about there's no weapons in New England. What's new? That's classic.
Yeah.
That's classic New England. So. You got Drake May. He ain't Brady, but he's still young, man. I think youngest in the league at QB. So give him some time, give him some weapons. They'll figure it out. But it's one of those things where you see you just need a coach that you can trust that knows how to get guys ready for games. Like you got Vrabel, who everyone would have said overperformed back in the day with Tennessee. Like, yeah, Tennessee wasn't down in the dumps when he got there in theory, but really they weren't doing anything. And he always had them beating the Ravens for no reason. And, winning division games and being the leader in that conference at one point. So, at anything, I think it's just a good coach hire to oversee everything is like that CEO level coach.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's going to be in that GM/coach role to me. Like I said, he's there to bring structure. He's there to do what Belichick does, which is kind of oversee everything in a sense.
I like it.
We'll see what happens, though. I do respect him as a coach. I think he's a player's coach. If you look at what Detroit is doing over there with Dan Campbell, man, he's pretty much come from the same cloth as a Mike Vrabel, if you want to, put that in perspective as far as being on defense, being a locker room guy. So I like the hire. I just want to see who's going to be calling them plays, man. So number one topic, though, man, forget all these other Bammers, man. We're going to get prime time popping, baby. We talking prime time. Get your chains out, get your watches out,
all
baby.
Right.
We talking prime time. You know what I'm saying? The news broke last night, right? Now, I will say before I get too deep into the Cowboy side of things, I did hear that the Vegas Raiders, they're not looking at Deion. They said, no, we good. We're looking at other places, right? Ben Johnson. And I believe, I'm not saying that Deion necessarily wanted to even go because he might want to stay in college. Who knows? But I think if this Dallas conversation is true and Deion actually is on the radar and he has a rapport with Jerry Jones, I think that ultimately came because the Raiders said that they don't want him. And he said, okay, well, and he tends me to be a prideful man to say, oh,
yeah,
I really wasn't too pressed to take the job, but since y'all telling me you don't want me, oh, okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else. So I'm just saying that to say I didn't believe the hype or the steam on him coming to the NFL, especially not the Cowboys. But I think the Raiders giving him the X, he might take that personal and say, dang, y'all ain't even think of me. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. And I think honestly, man, this whole narrative of him needing to draft his sons, I think that's a want. But I don't think it's a need, man. I think, honestly, he's grown. He's gotten his sons to the point where it's time for y'all to do y'all thing. Y'all are men now. I raised you to be men. The more and more I continue to be your coach, I'm no longer coach. I'm dad. I want you to be a grown man. So I think him having to draft Shador, I don't think he needs to do that. I don't even think he want to do that. I think he might just want to let his son go be a man instead of being his son. So I'm okay with him leaving his son to go somewhere else. But hey, the Raiders said we don't want you, man. And Jerry is clearly he's in the depths of hell right now as far as the ownership of teams. So I'm gonna just say Jerry is getting cooked up and signing Deion. I'm not sure how much that will equal instant success. But the one thing I do know about this team is me being a fan, watching this team, we can win a 10, 11 games every single year, snap of a finger. That's nothing, right? That's pretty much almost on the radar for this team. But what are we going to do when the playoffs start? That's the number one key. If we don't get a playoff win the first year, what are we doing? So I think Deion is a prideful man. He take things personal. And if the Raiders truly say, we don't want you, we don't even want to interview you, I think he might take that and say, okay, it's time to weigh my options. I might gotta flex my muscles on these Bama. So, Keys, man, I know you. Matter of fact, we're gonna go Rock first. Key, I know you a Cowboys fan, so I'm gonna get Rock. I'm gonna let you talk, Rock. Give me your heads up advice on what the Cowboys should do, or if you even believe it's gonna happen, bro.
This makes me wish that I'd watched, like, Dion's come out with like 2 or 3 different shows on Amazon over the last couple of years. It makes me really wish I would have watched those shows, because I honestly don't know what Dion is like as a coach. I don't watch a lot of Colorado football.
Okay.
But I think the main thing, it just comes down to the control that you've been saying it all season long, Fizz. It's just like Jerry is not going to give up a lot of control. I don't think Dion necessarily even wants to go there, because he already knows what type of owner Jerry is. So I think just those 2 strong personalities, he wants a guy that he can control. Mike McCarthy, Garrett, it's just like, these are guys that are just going to listen to what Jerry Jones has to say and stuff like that. It would definitely be the most electric hire, though. If Dion goes back to Dallas, that would definitely be the most entertaining. So sometimes 100%. If you can't get the best hire, get the most entertaining hire, which is why we want Rex Ryan back at the Jets.
No,
we don't. We don't, Rock. But I will say to kind of finish off what you started with, Rock. I will say, I think if this is true now, I don't even believe it. I think it's just a report, right? But if this is true, I believe Jerry is saying the power that I have that I don't want to give up, I'm okay with giving it to Prime. I don't think Jerry would do this with anyone else, though. I think he would never give the keys. He would do this for a guy that he knows he has a relationship with. He's watched over the years. And to answer your question about not knowing how he is as a coach, Rock, I would give it to principal to student, counselor to students, right? He's a man's man, a player's coach, a father's son type of guy. And I think no matter how old you are, how young you are, Prime to me is the ultimate coach. Forget the stats, the statistics, the analysis, all that stuff. We always talk about this on the show. When I go to work and my manager is somebody I can relate to, I can have a conversation with, he know when I'm having a bad day, I don't got to tell him. He can just see it on my face, right? Those are the type of people you want in your locker room, in your press box, all that good stuff. And that's what he is to me. He knows what type of music these players are listening to. He know what type of cars they're driving. He's the most relatable guy to a 22-year-old that's just coming out of nowhere from home. He, living in the worst neighborhoods and now coming into $20 million. Prime is the prime example of who you want to guide those guys. So I don't mean to cut you off too much, Keys, but I want to give a little bit of insight on what Rock was saying towards the end of Coach Prime. But let me hear what you got, brother.
Dude, they're filming everything like 24/7. So there's always something going on. Like one of his other sons are doing the media. So it's like you can see like he's really good at like having catchy slogans, like stuff that's really easy for his players to digest. And just like stuff that is quick recall. He's not making stuff overcomplicated as far as like motivational stuff and just different things like that to just stay locked in with his guys. Like I think that's important, being relatable. Like even with the Vrabel thing, it's just you might not necessarily want the X's and O's guy just for the X's and O's sake when that hasn't been the formula to win it, because you're gonna have a whole staff you're gonna have guys like and at Colorado, his offense coordinator was actually decent. I like that guy. It's just talent is what it is. But if Jerry were to let him have some control, I think that'd be great, because like at this point, like the Joneses are bringing in just whoever they want to, like a 1-year deal with Mike Zimmer. It's like he was good actually, but at the same time, you're just not letting your coach have any decision, and you don't know what's complimentary or not in the locker room. And if they're going to actually take your message and roll with it. And Dion, he's going to want anyone that he's got on his team to fall in line with that message to make sure that all the players are with it. So I think it'd be interesting. Not sure if it happens. Like I kind of want to like just get a coach on one of these teams that's actually winning something in the playoffs, because it's a team that is right now kind of in a win now mode. Like the team actually looked good after just some of the injured players came back from injury. Like, imagine you get your quarterback back, and how you're going to be looking. Maybe add one receiver. Just all you got to do is add a receiver, basically, and you're kind of good.
And honestly, bro, I think the heartbeat of this team is Micah Parsons. When he came back, we saw that. People can say what they want about him, falling off in the playoffs and this, that, and the third. Jerry is not letting Micah Parsons go. We all know that, right? But I will say, a guy like Deion, to me, man, he just brings the best out of young guys. And like you just said, Keith, nothing he says seems made up. I mean, seems like scripted, right?
Yeah.
It's so authentic coming out of his mouth and how he says it that I believe it. Even if it's a lie, he could lie to me and I believe it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, so I just believe in today's game. Mike Zimmer, he's too old, bro. I say this all the time, and I know I sound like a broken record, but these old guys, man, if they not, a lot of them probably can't even work the iPad that the plays are on, right? They still watching film on a projector. Like, we are in at times now, bro. You get up with the times or you get lost. And I think a lot of these old owners stick with their old ways of hiring old people because that's all they know, right? Technology, man, is getting so fast, and so forget technology. Let's just get with the people that understand the people. That's what I like. That's what I work with. I don't care about the X's and O's because, like you said, Deion will hire guys for X's and O's. I just need somebody in the building. Mike Vrabel, I believe he's that. Dan Campbell, he's that. Sean McVay, he's an X's and O guy, but he's still going to run. If your kick return is 99 yards, Sean McVay going to run 99 yards down the sideline and dap the play up. Those are the type of coaches that you need in this game, man, that I could look at and my coaches right there with me, bro. As a 22-year-old, a lot of them didn't have fathers growing up. They look at their coaches, their father. If my father is 70 years old and my head coach and he goes straight home drinking wine and talking to his wife and he don't answer his phone when I call him, that ain't my coach,
That's why I love Harbaugh and Tomlin.
Jim Harbaugh. The Harbaugh bloodline is different, but the Jim Harbaugh to me, he in there playing throwback tackle, lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jim Harbaugh is that dude, man. So I love these coaches like that. Deion to me would be the sign of a lifetime, whether he gets there or he doesn't. I don't think there's nowhere else he should go but Dallas, though.
Yeah, the first thing you said was for some reason they just choke in the playoffs, basically. You know, like there's something to that. And I think, when it comes down to crunch time, you'll see, just with the Cowboys, for example, a team that may have turnovers all season long, like, good turnovers on defense, but then they can't do anything in the playoffs. And then the offense is leading the league in offense, can't do anything. It's both sides. It's not just an OC or DC. That has to be on the coach. So that's
leadership. That's leadership, bro.
God. FSU is a better place than Dallas.
All right, Rock, man. We're going to leave the Cowboys alone. Shout out to Pops. But Pops, you was trying to send a super chat. You sent the memberships, but shout out to you for sending that. I'm going to show you how to do that super chat, man. Pops was trying to figure it out. We got it, though. We appreciate you, Pops. I guess we're going to get to the next thing, man. We talked about the Cowboys enough. People, I guess, are tired of hearing us talk about the Cowboys. So, let me see. Let me check this chat before we get started. Okay. All right. You say Zay's out. So is Zay Flowers ruled out, or that was who's Zay? Is that a thing? I didn't read that.
Yeah, because you were talking about the Ravens are coming in, no excuses. They might have a little bit of excuse.
Okay. I mean, but even if you don't have Zay, I'm gonna be honest. I think as long as Lamar and Derrick Henry are healthy, I'm not going to say that Zay doesn't matter, but this team seems to, bro, they went 13 rushes in a row for 88 yards against Pittsburgh. They didn't throw the ball at one time on that whole drive.
Hey, ain't taking some of my stats.
Oh, my bad. I'm just saying, it was so disrespectful to just watch them punch them in the face, bro. It was like, we don't care about what y'all got going on. So,
yeah, they got Nelson Aguilar. That's right.
So, look, speaking of your stats, Rock, let's get it cracking, baby. Let's get it popping. It's time for the fastest South Harmon minutes. Might as well break it down, get into the teams, get into the games. I actually got some logos for our team. So, listen, man, South Harmon fastest minutes. Y'all know it ain't the fastest minute, but we're going to make it as fast as we want to make it. So, it's time to cook up. Rock, you got your teams. Keys, you got your teams, and I'm going to fill in where I fit in, baby. So, without further ado, it's time to cook, baby.
Let him cook now.
Rob, we're going to let you start it off first, Playboy.
I got to wait for that beat to go.
Do you think?
All right, so we're going to start with the Saturday games. Chargers at Texans. Justin Herbert, my dude, had his worst career game He had 4 interceptions in this game. Guys, he only threw 3 interceptions in the whole regular season. And he's never had a game over 2 interceptions, ever. He got sacked 4 times. Man, the defenses in both these teams showed up, but especially Houston.
Yes, sir.
Nico Collins, 7 catches for 122 yards. He took over in that first half, set a franchise record with the most yards for a Texan. It's the second straight year that Stroud has won in the playoffs. They destroyed the Browns last season, and they dominated in this game as well. So that's all I got for that game. Pittsburgh at Baltimore.
Do you think?
Pittsburgh, they did not have a strong end of the season. They lost 5 straight, 2 of which came to Baltimore. Tomlin now has 6 straight playoff losses. The only one that has more is Bengals legend coach Marvin Lewis. 7 straight playoff losses. So there's some chatter about that. I hope that he stays in Pittsburgh. But they did not look like the Pittsburgh Steelers at all. They already looked like they were defeated by the time they took the field after the first couple of drives. Baltimore, Jackson, 2-time MVP. I think this is his best playoff performance. And I think he really cemented that MVP stamp. He won 16 of 21 for 175 yards, and he rushed for 81 yards. But King Henry, 26 carries, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a 44-long touchdown. This was the second highest rushing total of Henry's postseason career. So that's what I got on those games. You guys got anything on those games?
Other than we'll take Mike Tomlin in Dallas if they don't want him. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I got on that one, though, bro. Outside of that, you did your thing, baby. You cooked, baby. Keys, it's on you, man. Give us your games, Playboy. What you got, man? Cook it up for me.
Yeah, man. Packers at the Eagles. Hey, it wasn't high scoring, but hey, Eagles were in control most of the game. Look, hey, that was a nasty Dallas guy that stiff arm. Shout out to that dude, man. I just love seeing him carry guys down the field and shoot. Josh Jacobs in that same game, he was playing like it was blitz, man. The video game, he was dragging guys down the field. They couldn't tackle him. These are both some of the top rushing defenses. Only 81 yards for Jacobs. He got his TD, but that was all the Packers could do, man. 0 touchdowns for Jordan Love, 3 interceptions. Pretty brutal, man. They lost Christian Watson before coming into this, and Reed was getting banged up. Dobbs was getting banged up, man. The receiving core just kind of fell apart, and we thought this was just one of those teams that was overloaded with receivers at one point. So what's going on there? But young team, I'm looking forward to the future, man. But Saquon Barkley, 119 yards. Smitty did his thing, 55 yards, but only 10 yards for A.J. Brown. I don't know if it's rust from Jalen Hurts, but they're lucky that the Packers were hurt, man, because only 131 yards for Jalen, man. So we're going to need to see more for them if they're going to win this next round. But Eagles, on to the next round. One of my worst nightmares.
For sure, bro.
And I got that Monday night game. Vikings, Rams. Okay. Well, look, Vikings, I don't know if they really should re-sign Darnold, man. Like, you got your quarterback that you've been a first round pick on. You might want to just hold on to that and give him a chance to develop, because Darnold turned back into a pumpkin, guys. Last couple games, he hasn't been it. I think 36 TDs in the regular season, like 1 in the last couple of games. Guys, just not getting it done. But overall, you got to give credit to the Rams. That's who I actually picked going into this one, man. Look, Matthew Stafford can target Puka Nacua like no other. They couldn't really get anything going, unfortunately, but that's just the playoff beast that it is, Shout out to McVay. I think ultimately he's just that dude.
Yeah, McVay is that dude, man. And ultimately, the Rams won that game. And moving on from the Rams, I will say, Denver versus Buffalo. As much as I want to give Denver their flowers for doing what they did, they shouldn't have made it to the playoffs probably, if we thinking coming into the season. I got to give them a little bit of flowers, because Bo Nix, man, if you look stat for stat, Bo Nix is right here with Jaden Daniels. I know he isn't as flashy, but he throws some pretty balls, and that ball to Marvin Mims, man, for that touchdown. I mean, Troy Franklin for that touchdown. was one of them ones. And you look at the game before in the Bengals game, he threw 2 passes to Marvin Mims, 40, 50 yards down the field. So I just want to give a little bit of love to Bo and Sean Payton, the way they kind of built that offense after getting rid of Judy, right? We thought they didn't have anybody else to come through, and they did it with guys like Vele, Lil Jordan Humphrey, all types of random guys they just found, man, out of a hat and put it on whack for. So shout out to the Broncos, but ultimately the Buffalo Bills said, listen, man, we not here to play no games. I don't know what y'all was thinking, but Josh Allen, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns. James Cook, 120 yards rushing and a touchdown. And they sprinkled the ball to every receiver but Amari Cooper, man. I had Amari Cooper for 25-yard parlay, and the man couldn't hit 25 for me, man. So maybe it was an off day for Cooper. I'm not sure, but Curtis Samuel led this team in receiving yards. So that just lets you know what type of time they was on. End of the day, Buffalo won this game. It was a good game to see because ultimately we wanted to see them play and go to the next round anyway. And last but not least, man, the hometown team, not my team, but the hometown team where I'm from, where I'm kicking it at over here in the DMV. We got the Commanders and the Bucks, baby. And the Commanders and the Bucks, I will say, was the best game of the weekend. Me and Rock called this last week. We knew it was going to be the best game. And honestly, to me, I feel like both teams are teams you want to root for. Baker Mayfield is a guy, to me, I just want to see Baker win. No matter if it's first round, second round championship, I got to always root for Baker, man. I had a lot of hate for him early because I felt like he thought he was too cocky. But now I understand it, right? That's what lethal shooters say. I understand it now. And I understand my boy, Baker Mayfield. He had 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans cooked up Lattimore like he usually does, had 92 yards and a touchdown. Bucky Irvin, 77 yards. Only thing the Bucks did wrong was turnovers. The Bucks looked good as a team, as a unit. They was out there doing their thing on offense. Turnovers is what won this game ultimately for the Commanders. And the more turnovers, you lose. And at the end of the day, Jaden Daniels, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns passing. He had 36 rushing. Terry McLaurin, 89 and a touchdown. De'Ami Brown, 89 and touchdowns. So him and Terry both had 89. And when you look at this game, bro, it literally came down to touchdowns. Not to brag on myself, I'm going to be honest with you. I said it last week, Rock. What did he say last week? This game is going to come down to if Jaden Daniels got the ball, they're going to win this game, no matter what the score is. And I said an interception, though. But I said Lou or somebody would get an interception. They turn the ball over. Commanders get the ball and go down to score in the last drive. Unfortunately, it wasn't an interception. It was a fumble. But regardless, if you got a tight game with the Commanders, I'm going to say this again. If this a tight game, 3.7 points, and they got that ball in the last drive, I'm going to pick them to win that game, man. I think that's just how much of a hard working team they are, man. And Jaden Daniels, you give him that ball with 1 minute left, bro, it's going down, baby. So shout out to the Commanders. They did their thing, man. They going up against who we gonna bring up next. And yeah, man, I like what they did so far. They built a good unit. They did what they supposed to do, but unfortunately the season is about to be over, baby. We're gonna get into that soon. And that's the cook up. We appreciate y'all for tapping into that, man. And that might have been the fastest one we had so far, Rock. You know, only what
did pretty damn good. Yeah.
Only game to talk about, baby. So, we appreciate y'all, man, for that good old segment, man. But ultimately, I think my biggest take of all the games was, like we talked about earlier, I did speak on the Rams losing to I'm beating the Vikings, but I will say the Commanders coming through, and the season that they had was unbelievable. You know, I think they won 3 games last year. They won 12 this year, plus a playoff game. But I do believe they kind of just winning off of belief. I don't think roster to roster, when you put up De'Ami Brown up against, you know, look, De'Ami Brown versus St. Brown is not even right? So I'm just saying, going up against Detroit is going to be tough, but I will say they are winning off of what we talked about with Dion. They just winning off belief, man. They go in that locker room, and Key, you can kind of agree with me on this or disagree. I felt like when Dan Quinn was in our team, in the Cowboys, I always said he was our head coach. I believe he had the players' ear. I believe the defense would run through a wall for Dan Quinn. Yeah, I just believe Jerry knew he can control McCarthy, and that's ultimately what happened. But I don't think Dan Quinn stayed an extra year, because remember, the Broncos wanted Dan Quinn 2 years ago. I believe he only stayed because he thought McCarthy was going to get fired, and once he realized it wasn't happening, he went to the Commanders.
Yeah, we should have done that early move. But Dan Quinn, like he was like, wearing some, his hat backwards and
You that dude, man.
Wearing
Clapping.
his J's. And, he was chilling with the players. The players love Dan Quinn. Like
they
there's
love
still
him,
players. You'll hear interviews of them just talking about how they know they can call him no matter what, even if they're on a different team. And look, you're talking about De'Ami Brown, but the one note I got, shout out to you guys in South Harmon. Terry McLaurin's 6th wide receiver warp, man. So I mean, you got a good guy to throw the ball to. You know what I'm saying?
Put some respect on quarterback.
Finally's got a quarterback.
He do. So I mean, speaking of that, man, let's just run through these teams, man. Let's look at the teams, look at the matchups. The early game, which is surprising. It's an early game right here. I don't know if it's because maybe the Chiefs had like 20-something days off, right? And they probably said, listen, man, y'all been chilling for too long. We're going to make y'all play early. So let's get straight to it, man. 2025 playoff, the conference round or divisional round. What we got, man? What we got? Chiefs and the Texans. I'm going to give y'all, give me your winners and give me
Well, it's the best coach in football, Andy Reid. Andy 100%. Had a bye week to prepare. The only other coach that I would pick in an NFL game is McVay, which is why I picked that Williams. So,
and that's why you my man, because those my two favorites right there. But ultimately, we all can agree the Chiefs should win this game, right?
I think that both of these teams they're known for their defense. That's the thing. And then the Patriot or not?
I'm too short now. Hold up now. Where we going now?
Spagnuolo and D'Amico Ryan, both these teams' defenses, they're going to dominate this game. It's going to be tough for offense, but the Texans have Nico Collins and Joe Mixon. They're going to try to control it through the air or through the ground. I think this might be one of those games where it's just like the Eagles last year, where it's just like they're limping into the postseason. It's hard to pick against. I'm going to ultimately pick the Chiefs, but man, this would be the one I'm least surprised if the Chiefs lose. Because who do they have on offense?
Okay.
Who do they have on offense?
So they just got Hollywood back, and he's got even more rest now.
Rock. I don't know.
They've been doing fine. They've been doing fine without him the whole season. So and obviously Kelsey, Worthy's coming on. 3 great games in a row to end the season for Worthy.
My thing is this, right? When I look at the Chiefs, I say this because my boy Voorhees, he's a Chiefs fan. I say this to him all the time. I think the Chiefs come into the season saying, bro, we're going to make the playoffs. Let's just get through the season healthy. We're going to be okay. They're going to make the playoffs. I don't doubt it in my mind they're making the playoffs, right? Now that they're here, all those offensive woes we saw, you could throw them out the window. I don't believe it one bit. I believe they're going to come out here on week 1 no matter what D'Amico draw up, bro. I got the Chiefs putting up 30+ this week. They might score the more points to this week than they score all season. I think they're going to set the tone and let people know we back, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting some respect on the Chiefs' name. I just think Pat and all that resting, all that playtime, getting through the season of not knowing what's going on, they got a whole new playbook sitting in the cut for the play. It just says playoffs. They don't even say nothing else. They got this stashed in the cut, man. And I think D'Amico and them is in trouble, bro. I think the Chiefs going to have to put up numbers because whatever the Texans are going to have to put up numbers because whatever you saw from the Chiefs from week 1 to week 18, throw it out the window, bro. It's playoff time. It's time to get real now. That's my take on this game. I'm taking the Chiefs, but I do think the Chiefs are going to score or look the best they've looked all season on offense to me.
Yeah, deep down, I'm not going to bet against Andy Reid or Mahomes. I just kind of have to try to give the Texans a little bit of a chance. I can't be like Tony Romo, who's just completely biased and being like, oh, it's at the beginning of the 4th quarter. He's already talking about the next playoff matchup for the Bills.
No, I appreciate the, faith in the Texans, man. Like, we can't just be all in on Chiefs, but we were talking about those defenses. Chiefs are like 7th in rush defense. I know Ravens were 1st, and I say Ravens because that Christmas game versus Texans when the Texans put up 2 points. Like the Texans, they start slow in these games, and then they have to find a way. They started slow versus Chargers, and then they found a way with defense. I agree that Mahomes is going to figure out a way to win a game. Like, it doesn't even matter what the score is. He's like your Jaden Daniels. Like, if you give him the ball at the end of the game, he'll figure out a way to win it. It's kind of just comes down to that for me, man.
Yeah,
I
nah,
agree.
I'm with you, bro. To me personally, though, I just think, man, I don't judge anything the Chiefs do during the regular season because playoff time, it's just a different beast, bro. They different, and I think the Texans' lack of experience in the playoffs is what's really gonna hurt them ultimately, regardless of what the Chiefs do. If this was if
2-year-old.
this was Buffalo, if this was the Ravens, if this was the Steelers, I would have maybe felt a different way. But the Texans, I don't think they got enough seasoning, man, on them steaks they about to cook up, baby. So
Yeah, they're all 2-year players, basically.
yeah. I mean, that's a Saturday night game, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Saturday night, man. We got J-Day versus Jay Gibbs, baby. This right here should be, to me, I think it's gonna be a shootout game, honestly. This might be the highest scoring game of the weekend. No, I take that back. But this might be the second highest game of the weekend. But I will say, to me, I don't have any rules for the Commanders, right? I don't think they have a game plan other than score points. Because when you look at the game they just played against the Bucks, I think they went for it on every fourth down. I don't think they punted one time, except for when it was like 4th and 8 or 4th and 10, and they got a penalty, they had to punt. But on 4th down, 4th and 2, 4th and 5, 4th and 7, they were going for it. And I don't think if you're going to go for it against the Bucks, you're not going to not go for it against the Detroit Lions if you think they're going to score right back. And with Jahmyr Gibbs being the best running back, so second best behind Saquon right now, second most explosive right now. I just think the Detroit Lions, man, they not playing no games. They had their rest. Dan Campbell is dead serious on we keeping the gas. They could be up 30 points, and I still think in the fourth quarter they're going to keep going. They're not going to take no breaks. And to me, I got the Lions ultimately winning, but I do believe the Commanders are going to put up a fight. And my biggest fear for Detroit, though, if it's down to last drive, the game is 31-31, man, I'm taking the Commanders on it. So, unfortunately, for Detroit, they better keep a damn lead or else. So, Keys, man, how you feeling about this matchup right here, brother?
Man, like I feel like I would be picking Lions just because the Lions they're just nasty. Like
nasty,
for whatever
bro.
reason, like you got guys that are coming back from injury early, all stitched up. Like it's just the heart in that team, man. It's
man. That's Dan Campbell. That's the coach.
Really quantify, and it's too hard for me to pick a rookie-led team to just go all the way. I would love it if just to see JD pull this off, man. But I'm taking the Lions here. I love Amon-Ra as well. That guy's nasty. Him, Gibbs, even the rest. There's just guys everywhere to help you get it done, man. So it's just a team that's got a lot of talent. They've been battle tested. They've been through year over year, not even just through this season. Just every year they keep hitting these roadblocks and they find a way to overcome. I think this is that next thing for them to be able to take on kind of the X factor. Really, yeah, we have some tape on Jaden Daniels, but if you can kind of get through a game where you don't even know what to expect, then like now all these other games, this could kind of propel them and get them ready for the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah. And I think this is a great matchup for them, right? I think if it was Philly, I think that'd be like a tough. I mean, you want to play Philly, but to get them out the way early would have been good too. But I believe playing a team like the Commanders and a rookie quarterback. But I will say this, Keith, I'm gonna let you go, Rock. I don't mean to cut you off. When we talk rookie quarterbacks, though, bro, I think we learn this, right? Young quarterbacks that come in the game at 21, 22, they seem to be flustered. They seem to not know really how to handle it early. But you got Jaden Daniels, who stayed multiple years in college. You got Bo Nix, who stayed multiple years in college. I think we're starting to see the longer quarterbacks stay in college, the better they come in their rookie season. So I think when I look at Jaden as a rookie, he's a rookie in the NFL, but being 25 years old, he has a lot more experience mentally than a lot of these guys. And I think that's going to help a guy like Michael Penix, who stayed in college longer than expected. So I'm just saying that to say, man, coming out your not sophomore year, your not junior, your junior year, coming out your junior year, hey man,
overrated.
Sometimes being a senior or playing 5-6 years in college, bro, look at Bo Nix and look at Jaden Daniels and I think Michael Penix, bro. I just think coming into the league at 21, 22 at quarterback, mentally, bro, you might not be ready. So I think Jaden Daniels is just a different rookie because of his age and his experience through life, not even just through football. So, shout out to them. But ultimately, the Lions gonna win. What you got, T-Rock?
So I got a couple of different things. First of all, with teams like the Lions and the Chiefs, as number one seeds, there's a crazy. Can you try to predict what the winning percentage is for teams that are number one in the divisional round?
I'll go 30%.
All right, Fizz, what do you think?
Man, look, I hate percentages. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go 50.
All right, it's 61%.
Okay,
I win. I win, Keys. You go on.
I thought it was a trick question.
Oh no. So it's gonna be hard to bet against both the Chiefs and the Lions.
Yeah.
When it comes to Jaden Daniels, he's crazy against the blitz. He's got a 90.3 QBR rating, which is third best. Because that's what the Lions are going to try to do. They're going to try to overwhelm Daniels, but he's been one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz and against that pressure. Yeah, you talked about it earlier, Keys. They have so many different injuries, but Campbell, he doesn't care. He uses that as motivation for his team. So it's just like, even though they have this crazy 16 players on IR and stuff like that, and someone said it earlier in the chat, David Montgomery is coming back for this game. Who knows how healthy he's going to be, but I think that's going to be a huge boost. But we got to remember, they also played earlier in the season, but it was week 2. The Lions did take that, but that was before Daniels became the Daniels that we're seeing right now.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's going to be a great game as well, but I'm not going to pick against the Lions, man, because ultimately I want to see them in the Super Bowl. And that's the reason why I picked the Rams to beat the Vikings, because teams, after they play the Lions, after they get this shit beaten out of them, there's only one team that's beat them. That's the Bills. They won the very next week. Anytime a team plays the Lions, they lose the very next week. So I think that this is going to be a shootout game, like you were saying, Fizz, but ultimately I'm going to give it to the Lions.
And last thing I was going to say on it was, really, man, it's one of those things where, because of the young age of just the coach as well with the Commanders, as far as the run game is kind of what dictates if it's going to be a shootout or not. Like you were talking about, Fizz, if they played Philly, I wouldn't like that, because they have control on how to run the ball effectively. You can't do that with Brian Robinson in the same way that you can do
Saquon,
if you have a Saquon. So I think, they're going to unleash Jaden Daniels to run, but at the end of the day, it's going to be all on him, in my opinion. That's why it's a little riskier for him to actually be able to pull it off.
Yeah, now I'm with you, man. Ultimately, though, like we said, man, even being a Commanders fan, you want your team to win, but you kind of know, man, Detroit is on another level right now. So, we gonna take Detroit on this one, man. Landslide. We had the Chiefs on the other one, landslide, and let's bring this one up, man, because we might see different opinions, different views, but number one, most explosive, the most talked about guy in the league currently, probably right now, is Saquon Barkley, man. Everybody's either rooting for him or you don't want him to play your team. But it's kind of hard not to root for this guy, man. And me personally, I had my take on that 2,000-yard thing. But I do think, to me, even when Saquon took that, he slid at the end of the game, I'm not going to lie, man. I think Saquon is overthinking being humble, right? I think he's being too humble, bro. When he slid, and even his players is like, run, go for that. They were going to win that game regardless. I get it. But I think if you look at, because I went searching for this picture right here, right? I'm looking, and I looked up Saquon's celebrations. All of his celebrations was in New York. I can't find no celebrations in Philly, bro. Like, the man has just been on business time since he's been in Philadelphia. I don't think he's gotten a chance to really enjoy it and celebrate it. I don't know him mentally. I don't know him. I don't know him personally, but it just doesn't look like, to me, he's gotten a moment to. Maybe he just focused on Super Bowl. That's it, because I'm just looking at his actions and he's not doing anything for self. No rushing record. Like I said, he fell down last week saying, hey, let's just take the knee. Let's get out of here. And I'm not knocking that, though. I like that, actually. I feel like he's taking that role. I just want him to enjoy the ride, man, because once it's over, baby. So but that was just my take on Saquon. But ultimately, on the game in general, I said this and I'm going to stand on it. Philly to me is a good team. I love their defense. I love their offense. I love to have the guys on their roster. But I'm always going to take coaching over Philly, and I'm going to take Sean McVay over Kellen Moore. And I felt the way about Kevin O'Connell if they play Minnesota. And I think yesterday was just one of them things with Minnesota, man. I still don't think Minnesota will lose to Philly. That's just my personal opinion. Not hating on Philly at all. I love their roster. But when it comes down to the fourth quarter, the same way I view Jaden Daniels, I view Sean McVay. And the way that defense looked yesterday, listen, Jalen Hurts might be in trouble if he think he's going to sit back there and just, throw the ball and Saquon running all over. I don't think that Rams defense showed me more than what I expected to even think that they can compete in this game. So personally, I'm going coach for coach, and Sean McVay to me is just a better play caller and a better coach. And in crunch time, I'm going to pick him over Kellen Moore to call a better game. So ultimately, Philly should win. But when we get down to them X's and O's, baby, Sean McVay every day, man. So I'm taking the Rams on this one, fellas. That's what I'm rolling with. That's why I got no bias because I'm a Cowboys fan whatsoever. I'm just going with the coaching, baby. So, Rock, man, you laughing over there. You got a smile on your face, man. What you thinking, bro? What you thinking?
I think this is the toughest game to call because the Eagles have been really, really good. They've only allowed 13 points or less over the last 3 games. So it's going to be tough, but man, the way that the Rams won last night, they run it on the ground. I've been talking about Kyron Williams. I said he was going to explode during the playoffs. They've been riding on him and their defense. So we haven't even seen them with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp unleashed. But we also haven't already seen as well A.J. Brown getting unleashed, by the Eagles. They didn't need to win with him either. He was just on the sideline freaking reading books and shit like that. So,
hey, just man getting paid $30 million to read books, man. Sound good to me.
But I did love seeing Devontae Smith, them rely on him, Dallas Goedert, like you were saying, Keys with that nasty-ass stiff arm. So it's going to be tough to be able to predict this. Like you said, the Eagles should win, but I'm just never going to pick against McVay, especially with Puka Nacua waiting to be unleashed. But I think it's going to be a tough game. Both defenses elite. So,
shout out to the D. Nakobe Dean out of middle linebacker. I mean, that's big for them because they've been needing to lean on that defense, and they've been hitting in the draft and got some young guys there. But once the dam starts to crack a little bit, you never know. I mean, my problem with the Rams is that before that Seahawks game, the last week of the regular season, which I don't really count, Stafford went on a 3-game stretch of doing nothing.
Nothing, bro. He didn't.
Nothing. Now I still picked the Rams last week to beat the Vikings. Just a feeling because I know when they can be on, they can be on. I'm gonna take Philly here though. I'm gonna still take Philly in this one. And man, Barkley, he had a nasty spin move yesterday too. But even when he did the spin move of all time, no celebration, man. I don't know what it is, but he on his business, and I think Hurts is on his business. And the research I've seen is for quarterbacks, concussions, you're not 100% the first time you're back, but for other positions, actually, there's supposed to be no drop off really when you come back from a concussion, at wide receiver. Not all positions, but wide receiver specifically. Point is, I think Russ might be a little bit of a factor. I'm giving it to the Eagles in this one to find a way. AJ Brown's going to be more involved. I think they can put up a lot more points, and I've just seen Stafford kind of disappear in some spots.
Yeah, and I'm with you, though. I think that last 3 games, bro, he looked horrible. Cooper Kupp was unstartable in lineups. It was just a bad offensive scheme. But maybe they took that approach of, our guys are old. We're going to take a break. We're going to slow it down. Because if you look at that game yesterday, I literally thought Brian Flores was going to shut this offense down. He had to not shut it down, but kind of, bring out his tricks that he didn't bring out all year and put it on Matt Stafford to force him to be better. And even yesterday, Stafford didn't do much. It was the defense that really shut this down.
They didn't need to, yeah.
Right. But I think, honestly, bro, they might have took that approach of, listen, let's just get through the rest of the season. The Seattle Seahawks were falling off. The Cardinals were falling off. I just think now, man, McVay is he's gonna lock in, bro. He mess around and put Puka in that quarterback on some trick plays. And he'll find a way, man. I just like how he do things, man. He's the ultimate coach to me, especially with his locker room and his guys. And unfortunately for Philly, to me, I just think it's gonna come down to coaching. I think on the field they kind of both balance. You know, Kyron Williams isn't Saquon, but he's good enough. Puka Nacua, AJ Brown, you know what I'm saying? Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Dallas Goddard, and they got 3 tight ends in the Rams. Matt Stafford, veteranship over Jalen Hurts, abilities on the field. So they kind of matched up perfectly, bro. If you look at the roster for roster, I'm just taking the Rams, though, baby. So I ain't knocking that one, though, Keys. You know, I think if Philly win, I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, my God, they shouldn't have did it. But I'm just thinking the Rams, coaching-wise, got this. So last but not least, man, the game of the hour, the game of the weekend, the one that we all want to see.
MVP
Josh
battle.
Allen I think Josh Allen is shooting at me because he knows I'm not picking him. So, you know, I ain't gonna start this one off. I'm gonna let my boy Rock cook because he got the Ravens. That's his squad. He got the jersey on. Rock, do your thing, man. How you feeling about this game, and what we thinking about the outcome of this one, brother?
Man, I would be feeling a lot better if the Bills didn't look so freaking dominant against the Broncos. Man, this is going to be a tough game. This is not going to be that 35-10 loss that the Bills faced in week 4, because both these teams have gotten better, and it's hard to pick against either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Both of those teams run through those quarterbacks. It was crazy. I know you tweeted out, like, why is Lamar running the ball all these different times in those first couple of drives?
Yeah.
They were playing the option. Every time we learned about later, TJ Watt, he was told and instructed, always go after Derrick Henry, no matter what. So
I saw that a lot. I saw that a lot too.
Yeah,
he let Lamar run. He even tackled Derrick Henry one time and let Lamar run past him because he didn't know what was going on.
Because the key to the game is Derrick Henry. That's what it is. So when he got unleashed and they couldn't stop him anymore, that's when the game was over. That's when he ended up with, almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns and stuff like that. So I think the Bills, they might try to take a similar, game plan, just try to limit Derrick Henry and stuff like that. But if that happens, it don't matter because then Lamar Jackson's going to hold it and he's going to run it for over 10 yards.
Pick your poison.
Like yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's going to be really, really, really tough. I just hope that these offensive playmakers, if it does become, they do shut down the run, man, I hope Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and if Zay Flowers is out, I hope that some of these pass catchers really do show up. Or otherwise it's just going to be Lamar just running the damn ball the whole time.
We've seen it happen, like that random Tylan Wallace game,
yeah,
it can happen.
I mean,
or whoever.
But when you think about the game they played against the Steelers, they can't play like that against Josh Allen, right? They ran the ball so much that I think they wanted to do that. Like I think they really wanted to inflict pain on the Steelers, bro, because playing in the cold, I know for a fact it hurt to tackle Derrick Henry at some point. Like, man, I can't tackle this dude, man. This hurts me to tackle him. Like, I think they inflicted pain on the Steelers because it was a division rival. It was cold outside, and they just got tired of we not the same no more. That comparison of us being rivals is over with. We got this one. You
don't think it's like the narrative from last year? Because, like, they only had 10 rush attempts in that Chiefs game that they got eliminated from last year, and they had more than that in the first half of that Steelers game.
Well, think about, remember, week 1 they only had like probably 10 in the first week 1 against the Chiefs when they didn't use Derrick Henry. Hey, Keith, I know you know this more than anybody. They didn't use Derrick Henry until they played us week 3.
Yeah,
they lost to the Raiders week 2, and then all of a sudden they realized, oh, Derrick Henry's on the team. Let's face the Cowboys and let him go for 180 yards. So
T-Rock, it's too hard to guard both those guys. You're right, man.
It's impossible.
Yeah. So Keith, what we feeling, man? What you thinking about this game and who you got in this winning column?
I'm taking Ravens no matter what. That's my second team. That's where my grandma live. I go there every year for the most part, man. And I've been in more Ravens games than most other franchises other than Cowboys. So I'm going Ravens. I like that they already played each other this year. We've seen that in some other matchups. So, maybe they can pull it off again. I know, like y'all said, everyone's gotten better, but both of these guys are X factors. And, James Cook, who I think is maybe league leader in rushing touchdowns or something like that. He's up there.
Oh yeah, I think he is leading. Yeah, I think
So
James
it's like,
Cook is.
yeah, it's a battle. It's equivalent, but at the same time, it feels like the Detroit vibe. It's like part of me is just I've been seeing them get closer and closer and closer. And yeah, Lamar's had some chokes, but I just think the team has been getting better and better.
It has.
Yeah, the defense is good, man. The run defense is their strength. No running back has been able to run on them. So I think if you can take out Cook and make it back to being somewhat one-dimensional with Josh Allen, and yeah, I know Curtis Samuel balled out last week. That's not going to happen again. I guarantee you, it's not going to happen. Like it's going to be Shakir, who is second in the league in yards after catch. He's going to keep being good. You're going to get Keon Coleman, but I think it's going to be mainly those three. With some Kincaid sprinkled in. You can't stop Lamar now. I'm gonna go with them to get it done.
Cook tied a franchise record with O.J. Simpson, 16 rushing touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think they might not have paid attention. They probably should have let him break that record, man. I mean, saying let's just break some records out there. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure Josh Allen also has 16 as well, which is crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. Shout out Matt. What's up, Matt? Yeah, but me personally, bro, if you don't know, you already know. I'm going Baltimore. I'm going LJ8, and this might be the time where they say that this award is for the regular season, but this ultimately might lead to who wins the MVP, right? I mean, the vote should already be in technically, but we all know that these people, man, wait to the playoffs and they go by the latest bias of how they feel about each player. And I think, me personally, though, I think Lamar is over the MVP race talk. I don't even think he cares about his MVP. He wanted to be Super Bowl MVP, and that's what I think we're going to see this week. We're not going to see regular season MVP Lamar. I think we're going to see Super Bowl MVP Lamar. And you know how those games, like you said, Keys, where he chokes and you can tell in his face he's so mad. Like he had taken his mouthpiece, he'd do this and
he slams his helmet all the time.
Because we know a lot of the mistakes that he made is on him, right? Yeah. And I said this against the Chiefs game. I felt like when they played the Chiefs week 1, ultimately beat themselves out of that game, man. They was so close in that game, but they just couldn't get past beating themselves. And I just think this week, any move that they make to beat themselves can cost them the entire game. I think on all cylinders, bro. It don't matter if Zay is out or whoever. If you think about Zay being out, if you look at the Buffalo Bills offense, other than Amari Cooper being who he is and Keon Coleman, even Shakir, they have the better receiving core lineup. But Andrews and Henry and Lamar, bro, they just, man, that's the triple-headed monster, man. So, yeah, I like the stat right here, though, man. But yeah, he right after Jamar Chase. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he's been by far the best short yardage wide receiver this year, and he's been absolutely amazing, Shakir. Yeah.
Well, ultimately, though, man, I'm taking Baltimore, bro. Quote me on it. Do whatever you want to do with it. I didn't have my graphic up. I was trying to actually do it at the time. But before we get out of here, man, national championship, man. Got Ohio State. We got good old Notre Dame fighting Irish, the team that reminds us of the Patriots. People don't like them. They can't stand them. The luck of the Irish is pretty much going to run out, if you ask me. But this Ohio State offense is just too electric, bro. And me personally, I think Notre Dame being a more defensive team, I think honestly Purdue lost that game themselves. If you look at how I think I read a stat that they didn't complete a pass to a receiver the whole game. I could be wrong, but I think no receiver caught a pass that entire game. Allen didn't
no, that's right. It all went to the tight end, and I thought that was ridiculous.
Bro, crazy, right? So I think if you just got a ball to the receiver, you could have won the game. So I'm saying that to say no matter how much defense Notre Dame plays, I know we got a whole week for this game, so we probably touch on this again next week, but I'm going Ohio State, man. They got that young, fast, quick offense that looks so much fun to play for. And I just think Notre Dame is going to be playing catch-up if they get down early, and it's going to be hard to score on that offense. So what's y'all takes on there? I know, Rock, you in Ohio. Ohio State is your squad. How you feeling about your boys, man?
Man, I'm feeling pretty damn good. It was crazy. I was watching some of that Notre Dame Penn State game, and just some of the crazy back and forth. The turnovers is what ultimately killed them, throwing
Yeah.
things in the end zone and stuff like that. Notre Dame has to play a perfect game because they're coming in with into this game with some injuries, and unless they get some lucky turnovers, I think it's just going to be all Bucks. They're playing Jeremiah's. They got Jeremiah Smith, Ibuka, and they got that two-headed monster, at running.
Oh, yeah, running back, yeah.
So,
yeah. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be – and honestly, if you think about it, what you just said about the turnovers, Penn State missed, man, those wide-open passes. There was so many wide-open plays, that they overthrew, underthrew, drop passes. It was a sloppy game. I don't think Notre Dame honestly should be here, but they are. So shout out to them.
They should have got Warren involved a lot earlier. He's by far their best player outside of their running backs.
100%. Well, what's your take?
I love watching Warren, man. Yeah. Like, got a quarterback, they got him like a running back, like was just a beast. Yeah, the tight end.
Tight end one.
Yeah, I've been doing started my film breakdown. Probably like 15 guys in. Like, I did both the running backs for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was delivering. It's awesome to see. And I did both of the Penn State running backs too, and they all were crushing. Sad that Singleton's going back, but shout out to them. But yeah, man, Ohio State is just a loaded team. At this point, they're good at every position. Again, shout out to Texas for kind of limiting Jeremiah Smith. I thought that was going to be the
they had three people checking them, though. I seen that thing. Yeah. 3 men was checking this.
I was like, at halftime, you only got 1 catch for 4 yards. Yeah. Like, all right, we're going to win this game, but nah.
Bro.
They're pretty loaded. I got some Notre Dame fans, so it's like, I like root for them, but like I'm picking Ohio State.
I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I mean, we got another week. I think that game is not until the following week. Actually, I think it's next Monday. That's
Monday.
The inauguration and Martin Luther King Day. So it's a lot going on that day. So we'll see how that game ultimately ends up. But we're all taking Ohio State. And fellas, man. I guess look, man, we got playoff games this week. We got no NBA games we care to talk about or look at. And I mean, ultimately, man, closing out the show, what's our biggest takes coming up for this week, man? Whether the games, whether it's something personal, on the algorithms, what y'all got going on for the rest of this week until we tap back in, man. So,
I mean, for me, I'm looking at who's the Cowboys' next head coach just for the show I'm doing over there. But wanted to drop a stat when T-Rock was doing his Chargers breakdown earlier. Lab McConkey, #1 explosive rated player, #2 targets per outrun, #3 target versus man. I mean, that guy's nasty. There's no one else to throw the ball to. I get it, but that's someone you got to be trying to pick up. Do whatever you got to do to get Lad on some of your squads, man. But since I'm not gonna be on here before y'all do y'all Super Bowl predictions, I did want to give a little prediction.
Oh yeah.
And I also saw Matt. He was saying he thought Bills Lions would be the most fun Super Bowl. I mean, I'd only disagree because the home game. Where are we? We're at Vegas. No, it's New Orleans, right?
New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans. Yep.
I don't know, man. Like indoors, weather's not going to be a factor. I feel like that's the type of game where Lamar can easily cook. Derrick Henry can easily cook and go off. I got the Ravens making the Super Bowl. Like at that point, no elements getting in the way, no excuses. I think Lamar can get it done, and I think it'll be against the Lions. Like basically, the path is Lamar's got to beat the Chiefs. Whoever gets there got to beat the Chiefs pretty much.
Yeah.
So I just love the path to get there. You got to take out the man to become the man type of mentality. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't want the Chiefs to win it again, guys.
Nah. Well, I'm gonna say it is right to kind of piggyback what you said. I like Josh Allen and Lamar having to beat the Chiefs, right? Yeah. Because I'm glad the Chiefs aren't playing one of those guys. It's kind of like, the Chiefs are here, y'all two are underneath them. Y'all should have to play them to get to the next level. So I like that they're playing each other because the best man should win. But me, ultimately, I'm taking the Baltimore and Detroit myself. So we on the same page with that one, Keys. And I do have the Ravens winning that game.
Let's make it a 3 for 3 because that's
Oh,
exactly
God.
the same Super Bowl that I want to see. I want to see the Ravens back at the Superdome. Let's just hope that Roger Goodell can keep the lights on.
I was about to say
Oh,
the
my
lights got to be
God.
on, baby. The lights got to be on, man. The lights got to be on. Well, I say this: if Detroit winning, like the San Fran was, then turn the lights out, and we get it back, and then we be good, you know. So, yeah, man. You know, today was a good show, Keys, man. Before we get out of here, brother, let the people know where to find you, what you got going on, and you're right. The Super Bowl is coming up soon, and I won't have you back, but you're welcome to come anytime, my brother. So today
Hey,
won't be the
appreciate
last day, that's for sure.
Yeah, and shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, T-Rock. Appreciate it. Yeah, Dynasty F Key on Twitter, Dynasty Football Keys the YouTube, and been working with Player Profiler just to working on ideas for upcoming shows and the strategy for the next season. We just rebranded Player Profiler News into Player Profiler Now. Also, I'm still playing fantasy in the playoffs right now using Fast Draft. I got a promo code with them, $25 you can get if you sign up with the code Alex. That's my name. So go sign up with Fast Draft, whatever app or phone you got, and you can play some fantasy football. But they already got the 2025 rookies on there too. So if you think you know what you're talking about and you want to edge, you can start doing best ball for the 2025 class on there already.
There we go. All right, there we go, man. Well, look, shout out my boy Keith for joining me. Rock, before we get out of here, baby, what you got to talk to the people about? Or you good to go, man? How you feeling?
I was just gonna say, shout out to Player Profiler. I use that site all the damn time, and they got some of the best writers. I know a lot of people aren't big into articles. Man, I love the articles.
Your boy Seth's still one of
Seth.
the writers he crushes.
Yeah, so just shout out to them. I appreciate you, Key, getting on the show today. And yeah, it's been tough. It's been busy. I haven't been able to get into my articles. I have one that I'm like, man, I'm so close to finishing. But yeah, just tune in throughout the season. You can check me out at T-Rock 5220.
I'm gonna follow you, man, if I'm not already. This was my first year doing content. Like basically started about a week ago last year, so it's been fun, man. But it's nice when there's less games to cover for a little bit. Like
yeah.
But I'm already on to the next class, though.
This is that time, bro, to be creative, right? I say this all the time. This is the time where there's no rules. Once the Super Bowl is over with, we're gonna get into rookie content, but really you could just try some things, man. Throw it out there, see if the people like it. They don't, go back, regroup, draw it up, do it again. So this is my time, my favorite time, because I don't have to have a plan. I just throw y'all on, I throw up some graphics, and we just talk, have a good time. So I'm enjoying this time. I want to shout out my boy Keys for joining me today. I want to shout out my boy Rock, man, because he is a writer. He's mostly where he been at, but this year I told him, man, we're going to take those words that you wrote down on that pad. We're going to put a beat behind it, and we're going to get you a mixtape, brother. So I got my boy making a mixtape for the people, man, over here in South Harmon. And it's just the beginning, baby. January, we got a long year. My first year making content, but this is my first full off season. So we glad y'all here. We glad the people here. And I guess we out of this thing, baby. Give me one of them things before we leave, though, Keys. There we go, baby.